This is Matthew Johnson with Johnson Legal Jargon, and today I'm going to do an introductory video on personal bankruptcy, kind of the general overview about what bankruptcy is, what it can do, what kind of debts it discharges, how it's set up. This is really meant just as kind of a general overview. It's not really meant to get into anything too specific. We will save specific topics for future videos. We just kind of want to whet your appetite, get you a little bit informed about the basics. So in the United States, bankruptcy is a statutory right, which means that the federal government passed a law called Title 11, which sets out the rules and parameters for bankruptcy. And it gives people, businesses, and municipalities the right to declare bankruptcy to get out of debt in one way or another. And we're going to kind of talk about the different forms of bankruptcies for people, those being Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy is a basic insolvency. Chapter 7 is available to both businesses and people. You have to qualify for it though. To qualify, your median income over the previous 6 months just prior to filing have to be below the average income in your state. But if you do qualify, you get a complete discharge of all your dischargeable debts. And in future videos, we'll talk about what debts can be discharged, what can't be discharged, and kind of the difference between a secured debt and an unsecured debt. And those can be very important in a bankruptcy. So we'll talk about those in the future. But for most people, if we can get you into a Chapter 7, it's usually the best way. It's usually the most cost effective. It's simple, it's easy, and when you come out of it, all your debts that can be discharged, again, are discharged. They're gone. They're no more, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Chapter 13 bankruptcies are payment plans for people with regular sources of income that are above the household median. Payment plans usually last either 3 or 5 years, and the bankruptcy court always allows people who do file for Chapter 13 enough income to pay for basic living expenses, but extra income goes to pay off some or all of your creditors. There are certain benefits to a Chapter 13 over a Chapter 7. The big one being that you get to keep all of your property regardless of value, and it can be very beneficial for people with homes. It can allow you to catch up on your mortgage, and there aren't some of the issues associated with home ownership that there are in Chapter 7, and we'll talk about some of those issues in future videos. But the drawback is that you might have to pay back some or all of your unsecured debt through the Chapter 13 plan. Bankruptcies are usually most effective for people who have about $10,000 in debt or more. About the $10,000 range, the cost to benefit of a bankruptcy over other forms of debt solutions such as credit consolidation start to outweigh. And as you get more debt, those benefits increase. Bankruptcies do stay on your record for about 7 to 10 years, but for most people that's usually not an issue if they're looking at a bankruptcy because their credit is usually already not great, and a bankruptcy can actually help you improve your credit score. It can allow you to start building your credit back up, and even though bankruptcies do stay on your record, a lot of lenders will see that as a step forward. And a lot of lenders will actually see you as a safer creditor, since you can only file for bankruptcy once every 8 years, with some exceptions. You're actually a safer creditor because you can't file for bankruptcy again. And that means that you can't discharge their debt again, and they can still rack up interest on you. So some lenders will still lend you even after a bankruptcy. We've put people in cars the same day they filed. We've seen people get credit cards immediately after they filed. You'll get a lot of credit card offers immediately after you file. And so while you might not be able to get necessarily a new home loan or business loan in the very near future, it will allow you to start building back up that credit, and perhaps in the future possibly go down that road later on. But usually renting houses, getting cars, and getting small loans is usually not an issue. So that's a basic overview of Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy. In future videos, we'll go over more of the specifics of each type of bankruptcy and some of the issues involved in both. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a question video in the doobly-doo below, and it might become a future topic. In the meantime, it was good to see you all here, and can't wait to see you next time. Bye.